Hey everybody, it's Wednesday morning after Election Tuesday, and I'm driving into work. It's kind of wet out. We live in Washington State, what do you expect? Sorry, it's going to be bouncy. I'll fix it later on when I get back back home tonight on computer. So, post-election coverage is in utter shock. The news media still hasn't owned their own issues on this right here. Hey, I don't even have my seatbelt on. This is like really wrong. I'm streaming this out there to 20 people, but I don't have my seatbelt on. News people are still in utter shock. I have close friends that I know and respect that are very, very upset. I have more co-workers and friends that I know and respect that are also very upset. Some, I'm not hearing a lot of actual cheering unless you count, like Milo Yiannopoulos, doing a he'll do a big victory lap, but he called Donald Trump daddy, I listened to President-elect Trump's acceptance speech. I thought it was pretty good, actually. I thought it was nice. It was short, and it was pretty good. It was humble. It was focused on giving thanks to all the people that helped him to where he was at, and talked about the divide in our country and wanting to heal the divide. And he brought independence into it. He actually, which is really unusual. Most officials only talk about left-right, Democrat, Republican, and they ignore the independents out there and the other people that are, they're undecided or just, don't like you guys, So it was a pretty good speech, I thought. I heard some people saying it was the most boring acceptance speech ever. And my argument to that is, listen, if Hillary had been giving that exact identical speech, it would have been touted as wonderful and outstanding and awesome. I thought it was a strike difference to what I heard come from President Obama after he was initially elected. His initial talks about in his initial acceptance speech, when it's like, you're all punch drunk and tired and excited and everything. This isn't when he walked out among the Greek columns and everything, but he was when the very first acceptance his acceptance speech was it was we're gonna do this and this, and Republicans can come along for the ride, but they got to ride in the back. And to me that kind of set a tone, and I don't think that we ever got past that tone. That tone was there forever, for the entire 8 years to one extent or another, and I think it divided our country dramatically. And we're still divided. We're heavily divided. I think we're more divided now, racially, than we have been in 40 years. And you can blame who you want. You can blame the backlash of people get, you just don't like a black president. No. I mean, obviously, 51% of the country, by popular vote, President Obama won. And so, so the racial divide is worse than ever before. And I do blame a lot of I blame social media for a certain amount. I blame the mainstream media for an awful lot of it. And so, there you have it. I think President-elect Obama is President-elect Trump is a direct result of the backlash of a media that is complicit and trying to tell us who to vote for, and people saying, I don't care what you say about this guy, I don't care how bad you think he is, we're going to vote. We want him, because you don't. And I really think that had a lot to do with it. The reaction should have been expected. We don't get our news strictly from the media as it sits today. We don't get our news from just that one source. We get our news from social media. We get our, I mean, the youth get their news from the Daily Show and Stephen Colbert now. It's a totally different world. And they, granted, I'll grant the Daily Show is Stephen Colbert are definitely Democrat, and that's fine. It's still pretty funny. But the media I listen to does not come from Channel 7 or Channel 13 or whatever. I mean, I'll catch them for the weather, maybe sports, but that's about it. The actual news, I don't, unless it's a strange, late-breaking, oh my God, stuff that just happened. It's I don't get my news from there, and I think President-elect Trump is a direct result of the backlash of people saying, you know what, we don't like you, we don't trust you, we don't trust your sources, you're ignoring this, and you're talking all about that. And I think that's kind of where we've gone to as a country. Is it going to be a tough 4 years? Probably. We are going to be, if you look at the demographics of how it happened, I haven't looked it up, but I'm willing to bet that a majority of those who voted for Trump voted against Hillary. They voted, and so Gary Johnson got a fair amount of his stuff too. They voted against Hillary. And there's probably 20% of those who voted for Trump are really, really for Trump. The remainder, maybe it's 50%. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't looked up the numbers. The remaining were probably, we're obviously just people saying, listen, we don't want her in. And it's not because she's a woman. It's because we think, we don't like a lot this, and this about her. And I think much as after we got into presidency of the first black president, and supposedly the racial divide was going to be healed, quite the opposite happened. I really do think that every bit of opposition to a President Clinton would have been considered misogyny by many. So we actually kind of avoided that argument for the next 4 to 8 years. So kind of glad about that. So now we have to pray as a Christian nation. I am going to call to you to pray for President Trump and for the new leadership. We have a red government right now. You could call it. They are president that is at least on paper he's a Republican. We have a Republican Congress, and we're going to most likely end up with a conservative Supreme Court pretty soon. So where does this take our nation? Well, I don't know, because there is still a large contingency of the nation that is very concerned about social justice, and as a Christian, I am too. Maybe not to the same kind of extent of social justice as other people. To me, it's actually society issues that not less the issue of homosexuality and transgenderism and things like that, and I'm more of the we need to lift people out of poverty social justice issues, and that's a concern of mine. And if you have a gay married couple out there with an adopted child or a child from a previous heterosexual marriage, and they're financially strapped, as a Christian, help them. Okay, I want to put that out there. But their sexuality should not influence your decision to help them or not. So, that's I'm kind of rambling, but that's my opinion in this. I think we're going to be watching President Trump very, very closely. All of us will be. There's going to, like I said, there's going to be a small contingency of people that are going to give him a pass on things, but it's not going to be our media. It's definitely not going to be them. It's not going to be even a majority of the people who voted for him. The people who voted for him are going to sit there and say, no, that's wrong. You can't do that. You can't say that as president. And so that's my opinion in the matter. He's going to get watched very, very closely. If he does not do a phenomenal job, he's going to be a 4-year presidency. Straight up. That's just the way it's got to be. He's got to be so take heart, people who think this is the end of the world. It's not. We have survived as a country much worse than this. This experiment shall continue. This experiment that we call being governed, governing by the people, for the people. This experiment will continue on in success. I personally think we're going to head for better economic times. I think the social issue could take a few more lumps before it gets better. And I think in 2 years, we're probably going to see a Democrat Congress voted in. That wouldn't surprise me one little bit. If things don't go swimmingly wonderful, Congress approval rating will not get better without that. So I'm going to bid you adieu. I've got to get to work. I started a little late already, and traffic is not the most wonderful today. So y'all have a good one. God bless.